Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the TEQ Super Saiyan 3 Goku and basically get a good idea for just how good he is after his Extreme Z awakening. Now he is a Super TEQ type lead and he is an Extreme TEQ type lead. He greatly raises attack whilst raising defense for one turn on his 12 key, and massively raises attack while raising defense for one turn on his 18 key. Now, in terms of this guy, he's a very interestingly built unit. Attack and defense at the start of turn, but an additional attack and defense of 120% when performing a super attack. He will reduce damage received by 50% before he fires his ultra super attack during the turn. Now this is very interesting and we'll talk about it a little bit more. But also with each super attack performed, he gets key +2 up to a max of 4 and an additional attack up to a max of 59% with each super attack performed. When below 50% health, he will gain key +7, attack of 50% and a huge boost to his damage when performing an ultra super with a guaranteed crit. In terms of links, he's got limit breaking form, over in a flash, Super Saiyan, experienced fighters, Kamehameha, and of course legendary power. And in terms of categories, he's on quite a few: Goku's family, Earthbred fighters, movie heroes, Super Saiyan 3, power beyond Super Saiyan, full power, etc. Now in terms of his stats and overall performance, this Goku does have one dupe, and depending on how you want to build him is going to be very interesting. So the reason Goku doesn't have a lot of ki outside of his super low health requirement is basically Goku's ki management is very crucial to his overall defensive performance. Goku getting his 12 ki super attack makes him substantially more tankier than if he was to simply get his 18 ki. If he only gets his 12 ki, he maintains his 50% damage reduction whilst boosting his 200k defense all the way to the 500k mark. So all of a sudden Goku is actually a very acceptable tanky unit at that point. Not to mention as well, if you build him additionals, getting the 12 key will be very crucial. Double 12 keys will boost his defense to over the 600k mark, and then you're looking at a unit that in theory is pretty tanky. The downside to this is he's not going to do a lot of damage. Conversely, get the 18 key with Goku, raises defense still to a very respectable 500k, but you will lose the 50% damage reduction. Although of course he'll take damage, the big thing with Goku is simply that, quite frankly, he will do huge damage. We're talking 17 million, 18 million, and if his health is below the 50% threshold, he can cross the 30 million mark with relative ease. This is a guy who can hit 21 million with just support on the rotation. So he's kind of like I don't want to say a flip of the coin, but his super attacks can determine realistically how he functions as a unit. You could inherently have a super tankier Goku, a Goku that in theory will be a unit that could tank quite well. Maybe not every super attack in the game post 9th anniversary, but still tank very well, but you have no damage. Conversely, you can have one of the highest damage dealing units in the game, but absolutely tank his tankiness against super attacks. It's going to be up to you, dupes, links, all of this will help him more in the attacking sense. But yes, essentially it's a pretty straightforward, very strong, very powerful team. Now in terms of just Goku's overall performance, I do find him to be a lot of fun to use. I think as a damage dealer he's a great unit. In terms of where I'd place him on the team, I would probably use him as a floater. I don't see him being a high volume, high rotation unit. You'd have to sacrifice the big draw card about him being his overall damage to get him to be a regular tanky unit, and that's just not for me. I think you float him, he pops up, he does 25 million in damage, and he disappears. Very Chad-like behavior from Goku. I just think that's your best bet with him. In terms of build, like I said, you can go additionals or evasion or crit, depending on whatever you're comfortable with. Myself, Personally speaking, I would go a split between additional and crit. As much as evasion will help him against super attacks, he only has 1 turn of guaranteed crit in his passive, and he has no additionals whatsoever. Additionals will help to augment his overall defensive capabilities, and obviously crits will help to guarantee that those 20 million attack stats are moving very, very big. For me, it's priority crit, so focusing in on crit, and then it's guaranteeing a little bit of additionals. You can put 3 in dodge if you're that kind of person, but it's not for me. In terms of links, his links are very attack orientated, but you want to try and focus in on at least one key link. Over in the Flash probably being the best one to go with. Super Saiyan experienced fighters, Kamehameha and Legendary Power give you a decent template for having your baseline attack links, but he has no crucial defensive links that you need to prioritize in terms of getting this guy to work. Ideally, all you have to do to get Goku to really be a menace is to run him as a floater. Run him as a floater, get his 18 key, let him really bust out and do some big damage. With him floating in the 3rd slot, he should be fine with his 50% damage reduction against the majority of enemies, and then you can really see Goku start to shine. I think it's a bit weird that all Super Saiyan 3 Gokus essentially kind of function the same. Well, not weird, I mean it makes perfect sense. But yeah, I think you don't have to get too technical with this Goku. Run him in the 3rd slot, use him for his big time damage, have him come in, big damage to the enemy, defensively sound afterwards, disappears, comes back later, rinse and repeat. Then you don't have to cater to him, then it's all fine, and you can also leave orbs to construct for him to get his 18 key. The thing is, he does struggle a bit for key, but it's good for the management of his abilities. That's it from me, see you next time, bye.